When I look back on my life, one of the greatest teachers I ever had was Buckminster Fuller. And he was called Bucky affectionately by millions and millions of people. And I knew about him before I actually saw him. But the first time I saw him, I was in an auditorium in Marin County, California, and there were 2,000 people, and I was a volunteer usher. And when I sat down and saw this little short, bald-headed man who was 80 years old at the time, with thick glasses, um, he just showed up for me like a grandpa to the whole world. He was called the grandfather of the future by many, many people. And I would say absolutely, he was the grandfather of my future. And Bucky lived a life, and he said very boldly, he called a throwaway life, because he thought about committing suicide when he was 27 years old. And he decided against it because he realized his life was given to him. And if he was ready to throw it away, then maybe he could rethink about it and redesign his life in a way that answered the question, could one little individual make a difference with their life that would impact all of humanity? And so from that moment on, he made a commitment to live that kind of a life, what I'm calling a committed life. And everything he did with, will this action impact the future of humanity in a beneficial way? And he lived with a phrase that became my own commitment, to create a world that works for everyone, with no one and nothing left out. And that phrase and that man, and I didn't really understand a lot of what he was talking about. He was an engineer, an architect. He was really an incredible scientist. But there's a wonderful quote from Emerson that says, "Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear the words you're saying." And that's exactly the way it was for me and Bucky. I loved him. I loved the way he was. I loved his love for humanity. I loved his love for the world. I loved his love for the intellectual integrity of the universe. And it made me love my own life, knowing that if I committed it to making a difference that would impact all humanity, that my life would be worth living. So Buckminster Fuller, Bucky Fuller, was my greatest teacher.